In this fifth and final massing practice, we're going to look at how we move from massing to a building. So open the file that was handed out and save it as usual. File, save as, project, and replace the XXX with the first three letters of my last name. There's a few places I can find these buttons, but let's stick to the Massing and Site tab. If I want to create floors, I'll just click my floor button. Its default is multiple select, and I can do a box around everything and create floors. Some of the sketches are not exactly on axis, but that's the nature of the shape we've created. When I look at that in my 3D view 2, where I've hidden the mass category, see those floors pop up in that space. Let's go back and create a roof by face. So roof by face, click on the top of this building, create roof. Click on the top of the building, create roof. Now I'll create walls by face. So wall by face, I'll spin around and I'll just take 3 sides of each building to create a wall by face. And there we go, escape out of that command. And then if I want some curtain wall, I would go for a curtain system. And I could, there's a system already created here. If I wanted a different breakup of grids, I would edit type and duplicate to create that. But if I want the default one, I can just click and create system. And click over here, create system. When I switch back to my 3D view 2, we see the building starting to take shape. So that's how we move from a math to a building. What if the math has to change though? Well, we don't want that to go on for too long in the project, but maybe for a little while that'll happen. So in this 3D view 3, I've hidden the floor, roof, walls, and curtain systems categories. So if I want to change one of these shapes, there's 2 different methods. Because this started with an extrusion and then we added a profile, I would have to edit in place, select it, and I could go back to my X-ray mode just like before. Now I can take those shapes and adjust them however I'd like to adjust. Take this one, pull it out, I'll take this point and shove it back in a bit. So we can play around with this shape, and when I'm happy, I hit Finish Mass. And there we go. So that's going using the extrusion we created earlier. This shape we used the loft, we had the different ones. So I could edit that one in place, click anywhere on it, and dissolve. Dissolve will put it back to its original shape. And then I could take any of these shapes, click once, click a second time, and MV to move that edge over a little bit. Click a second time with a slight pause. And I could even use the temporary dimensions to change the shapes. Once I'm happy and I'm finished, I can select all of the geometry that I want to use. So I want everything in this screen. Sorry, I'll do a window around everything except for my void. I'll just hold Shift and click to take my void out of that shape. And I'll create my solid form. The first time we created a void, it automatically cut. This time it didn't. So on the Modify tab, I can hit Cut. And I just click and click. Now we have revised shapes. I can finish that mass. Those are pretty subtle changes, but when I go and look at my schedule, the gross floor area, I'll see that those numbers have changed. And I go to my FSR, and that has also changed my FSR. I made the building slightly smaller when I worked on it. So these are all live schedules that update. And if I go back to my, let's see, 3D view number 2, all of my information is out of date now. My floors are out of date. So what I could do is select everything, filter it to just my floors, and I should have 40 floors. And I want to update to face. When I click that, my floors are pretty reliable. That works almost every time. My roofs are a different story. I'll select both of those roofs and update to face, but it couldn't figure it out. For this one at the top, it couldn't figure out how to update. So I have to delete it and create it again. So to create it again, it's pretty straightforward to create it. Roof by face, and oh, right. I can't create it in this view because I turned my masking off. So let's go to the default 3D view, and we'll go for roof. Click on the top edge, create roof, and that's my roof. I'll do the rest of the work in here. It's a bit distracting to do in the other space. So I want to update my walls. I select everything and filter it to just my walls. And click update to face. See how much bad news I get. 3 of them. 3 are deleted, 3 could work. I'm having the most problem with this locked shape. So I can go back to my massing and site, create wall by face again. 1, 2, 3. So not a lot of work to get them back if they don't automatically update to the face. And then this curtain system, we'll cross our fingers for that. To select it's a bit tricky. I usually like to do a box around it and filter it to just the curtain system. And then I'll say update to face. It worked. Great. I sounded surprised because that often doesn't work. This time I'll do a window selection and filter to just the curtain system for the taller tower. And I'll update to face. I'll say yes. So we're having no luck here with this. So we could try and figure it out, but I find it's easiest just to delete it. Go for a curtain system, click on the face again, and create system. So if you need to step forward and back between massing and building, you can do that, but you see how we actually had to recreate a bunch of things. So if we had windows inside those walls or different pieces, we would have a harder time with that. That's how we move from our massing to our building. I hope this answers a bunch of your questions, and if not, just get in touch. Thanks very much.